Hi, everybody. My name's Dickherber. I work at Onsite Computer Consulting Services here in Wentzville, and I'd like to welcome you to Opening Local Doors with OCCSI. Our podcast is about small businesses, small business owners, the real people behind the business, their real stories, and the impact that they have on the community that they serve. We're all about bringing to light some of the most hidden gems in our communities, whether that's St. Charles County, Lincoln County, or Warren County. The small businesses are the backbone of what occurs in our communities. And we're taking the stance of it's time for the community to meet and understand what they do and how they got to where they are. Today, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Brad Hoff, the owner of Direct Automotive. Hey, Brad, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ann. I really appreciate the time to sit down with you and to speak with you about what we do.
I'm glad that you're here. So tell me, with Direct Automotive, how that got started in your life and where you are today.
Well, I can tell you first off, it wasn't planned. I spent the first 18 years of my post-college career in corporate world. Decided that was no longer for me. I had always been a car guy since I was a kid. When you take apart your own cars, if you want to drive it again, you have to learn to put it back together. So that's how it got started. In 2015, I told my wife, I'm going to give this a go. And I'm not sure if I can really share how she reacted, but she was a little concerned. She said, what do we do? And I said, well, we will either be successful or we won't when you start your own business. Long story short, we are almost 11 years later, so we have been successful. I'm very thankful for that. Thankful to the people in our community, long-term customers, new customers, just all kinds of thank yous I owe people for the opportunities to help them.
So full out mechanic, any car, any truck, diesel?
Any car, any truck, diesels that we have, 650s, 750s, 550s, that sort of thing. But yes, any car, any make, any model. Well, every car is the same mechanically. Now, I'll have people that will get upset at me saying that, but look, we have internal combustion engines. We have air, gas, and spark, and that's what we need to run. Some of the ancillary items, yes, they are different. Biggest difference between some of your higher end imports and more of your mainstream cars is what fasteners they use. Honestly.
Our metric or?
The vehicles are metric at this point, although the engineers still like to throw some SAE in there somewhere just to keep us on our toes, unfortunately. Triple square sockets or the E-Torques or the spline sockets, stuff like that. I've learned that a lot of mechanics and a lot of shops haven't spent the money on that. We have all of that stuff. So we are certainly capable of handling any type of vehicle.
As a matter of fact, I think the other day, I'm not sure which group I was looking at on Facebook, but there was somebody looking for someone that could work on a Volkswagen because they're, I don't know, I guess they're odd. I happen to have a little banana yellow Beetle, the Volkswagen. I don't own a BMW, but the Audi,
We work on a lot of you.
Volvos, whatever.
Sure, certainly.
The reality of it is, I think people feel like they have to take them back to where they bought them.
Correct.
I don't know. I don't take my Ford pickup truck back to Ford. I have a mechanic that I trust.
Right.
And typically, in my opinion, I get better service from a local mechanic than I would ever get from a big corporate mechanic. In fact, I own my little fun vehicle. We won't talk about that because I'm an old person and people laugh at me, but I own a Polaris Slingshot. And I took it back to have warranty work done on it. Took it back to where I bought it. They lost it. It took them 45 days to find my Slingshot.
Oh my.
It wasn't supposed to be parked. I have my own skewed version of whether or not I take things back to dealers at this point. But tell me, let's say I would take my little VW to a Volkswagen and I got an estimate to have X amount of work done. And I'm not real sure about that. Can you give me a second opinion? Can you?
Absolutely. For the last several years, We make our living off of second opinions
Mhm.
by quotes given by big shops and or dealerships. Our pricing schedules and pricing points could not be more different. A couple of examples: we do not mark up parts. We do not charge 180, or some places I've seen quotes recently up to $250 an hour, anything close to that kind of money. Our diagnostic fee is $75, which is unheard of in this business. Okay, maybe you can, maybe you can't. And great, if your neighbor can fix it, that's great. And then our typical hourly ranges, depending on the vehicle and the type of work, from $100 to $125, which is almost unheard of in today's market in vehicles. We will give you a written estimate up front. If there's going to be a change because there's something unforeseen, I will call you immediately. I'm not going to spend your money for you without your approval. And that's how we operate, good, bad, or ugly. You will hear from me. And it seems to work for our clientele. They appreciate it.
So I think most people appreciate feeling like they're being dealt with respect
Yes.
and being dealt with honestly. I know that I appreciate that. And I also know that it is a model of most, not all. It's like anything else in the world. There's bad owners of small businesses.
Certainly.
But the reality with a small business is we have a stake in gaining your business, right?
Yes.
Because we have people to feed,
Yes.
right? And so
And I get my hands dirty and ruin my clothes every day.
So if you don't have customers and you don't treat people with courtesy and respect in a small business, it's not like you're going to go down the street and get a different job. You're just not going to have a customer.
Right.
And you're not going to have the money to feed the family that you're trying to support with your small business. So there's an old saying, and I wish I could remember what famous person said this, but small business owners are hungry. Mm-hmm. And so Absolutely. They are more diverse. They have a lot, sometimes more integrity and sometimes more honesty, because they have a personal stake in treating people in the manner to bring the business in, because they are hungry for business.
Yes. And you're never quite comfortable.
Right. And you never know when the other shoe's going to hit the floor.
That is true.
So I appreciate that. And I appreciate the fact that you can do those second opinions. I think people will find that's probably almost always helpful.
Yes.
And
not just in the automotive industry.
Right. Second opinions are valid in almost everything that service work we have done. You see it all the time online, whether it's cars or heating and air conditioning or whatever. Not every tech diagnoses things the same.
Correct.
So if you work on something, Brad, one of the things that you and I've talked about before is your warranty. Yep. So if I have my repairs done there, what type of warranty do you offer me?
The parts are going to typically come with at least a 1-year warranty, depending, sometimes 2, sometimes lifetime warranty. And we will honor that, and I will honor the labor part of that too if something fails. Mm-hmm. Everything on your vehicle is not a dire emergency. Most big shops and franchise locations, whether it be a dealer or any other large, well-known name out there, they're trained to make sure the customer knows that everything is a dire emergency. Mm-hmm. Some things are an emergency. If you've got a bad brake line, that's an emergency. If you've got a check engine light for a small evap leak or an EGR valve or a purge valve that's malfunctioning, it's not my job to scare you into not driving that car home. So what we like to do, and people used to laugh at me, and big shops still laugh at us for this, we will sit down and we'll say, hey, your car needs this and this. This is what I would do first, because your brake pads are important, for example. This I would do second. And you don't necessarily have to do the whole punch list that giant shop A told you has to be done before you drive home. But it's hard to change customers' behavior when that's how their parents did it. That's how they've done it for X amount of years. And you automatically assume, hey, this guy's standing behind a desk. I've got a nice printout. I got to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those bills are life changing. We had a young lady about 3 weeks ago that came in with a quote. She needed brakes and rotors on all four corners. She needed a couple of coolant lines. She had a pretty decent oil leak. And this was a high-end car. This is an Audi Q5. She was quoted almost $10,000 for this work from the dealership.
Ouch.
She went to a big franchise shop and they quoted her just over $5,000. She came to us on a third opinion based on a referral, which we love. And we did every bit of work on that punch list from the dealership for less than $2,000. So she's tickled to death. We're happy to help. And we've earned a customer.
Right.
She's not going to call the franchise shop or the dealership the next time her car needs maintenance. And that's how we like to do things. And we also went the extra mile. We went to her house to evaluate the vehicle, which we do a lot. We do a lot of things mobily, especially evaluations and diagnostics. And sometimes instead of people paying $100 or $200 plus to have their car towed to a shop, we'll just tell them, hey, we'll come to you and do this repair. We'll get your car drivable. Then you can bring it to the shop and we'll finish the rest of the stuff.
Right.
And customers have really responded well to that. So
well, that's pretty amazing because a tow bill on top of the repair bill can't be easily digested. I would think that's a large add-on. And without a Band-Aid.
Right.
Yeah, that whole mobile thing, that is truly amazing. That there's somebody to reach out to, hey, my car's dead in the parking lot of store X, Y, and Z. I need help. Can you come get it just running for me enough that I can either get it home or get it to you? I think we
do that multiple times per week. Yes.
That's the big rocket flare. The reality of it is that's a big thing for most people because they don't know and they don't know where to take it. And so that's, to me, that would be a wonderful introduction to Direct Automotive.
Yep. And you don't have to coordinate your busy schedules with your 3 kids and their schools and their sports. And, oh my gosh, how are we going to get my car here and drop it off tonight and leave a key somewhere? Or
so in automotive,
yes.
How many generations of family?
2. She knows her stuff. She's fresh. She's energetic. And she's also part of the reason we've grown so much. We also have my soon-to-be son-in-law, Tyler, who's another lead tech for me, who's Carol Grace's fiance, is also very talented on motor work and suspension and things of that nature. We have a young man, Dominic, who I was fortunate enough to pick up about 2 to 3 months ago. And he is extremely competent. He does a lot of big jobs for us, top-end rebuilds, things of that nature, transmissions, that sort of thing, big stuff. And then my son, Garrison, who also works for us, is very gifted in the European car world. A lot of BMW work, from timing chains to intakes, head gaskets, anything like that, because he's owned several BMWs and that's his passion. A lot of stuff in 3 decades. So
automotive truly is a family-owned
100%
and run business. So where is your shop? Do you have a physical shop?
Yep, we do have a physical shop. It is technically, I believe it's in Troy, Missouri, off of Gravens Road. A lot of business in the Winsville, Lake St. Louis area. So I'll just have them drop the car off at my house and then I'll take it to the shop in the morning. Or I'll meet them at the shop, whatever they're comfortable with.
Right. So if you had something that you've learned on the path to a growing family-owned business, small business, and someone that's watching this podcast is struggling or is trying to make the decision whether to start a business, what's the one thing you would say to them to help them on that path?
You have to have family support. If you're married or you're otherwise involved with a partner, you have to have their support. It makes life a lot easier. You have to have at least a skeleton of a financial game plan, because things don't necessarily take off how you expect them to take off just because you do a good job and you're a good person and a good company. Doesn't matter to a lot of people because it's difficult to change behavior when they're used to
Right.
going elsewhere. So that sort of thing, you have to make a plan. She wasn't necessarily super excited about it. She didn't know how the lifestyle may or may not change. And quite honestly, it is touch and go for a while in a small business until you develop enough of a client base to be able to be effective at what you do and to live effectively in a company.
And expect to spend many nights without sleep
Yes.
trying to figure that out.
Yes. And be on call 24/7, 365, because that's really the reality of it as well.
So one of the things I really want the people listening to this to hear is one of Brad's mechanics is a young lady. I think that's phenomenal, having grandchildren that are entering the work. Ladies, girls can be mechanics. Ripley's believe that or not. They can do this.
And good
right?
ones.
And gentlemen can do this. And it's no longer a thing that only young men can do. Young men can do it as well. But
Absolutely.
I think I saw Brad's pride in his daughter and her accomplishments. And I really want everybody listening to pick that up on this is truly a family business. His wife is now happy about it. Let's just share that information.
Yes, very.
A little less sleepless night. So the reality of it is, if I needed you, if our audience needs you, how do they reach out to Direct Automotive?
Well, we have a kind of a running joke, and you're familiar with this. Don't call me. Text me, please. And there's actually business rationale for that. In the shop, it's noisy. I'm under a car. I'm inside of an engine bay. I can't always answer my phone. Text is the best way to contact us, for sure. We also do a lot of business and get a lot of referrals through Facebook Messenger, and that is okay too. But yes, text is the best way.
And what's the number to text?
It's area code 636-487-2166. And that is on my Facebook page as well, Brad Hoff. And also you can link directly to Direct Automotive Facebook page.
Okay. First of all, I want to tell you, thank you so much for coming and sitting with me. And my next ask is if you know a small business that could benefit from the podcast so that we can open doors from the community to that business,
Yes.
that would be amazing. And for each of you listening, if you know someone that owns a small business that could benefit from this, please tag them in this podcast or in the comment section for the podcast.
Yes.
We would love to have them. The entire point of this is to open local doors to those businesses, to tell their stories, to talk about the people that own them, and to discuss the impact that they're having on the community. One more time, if you need Direct Automotive or Brad Hoff, what's the number?
636-487-2166.
Reach out if you have a car, if you need a second opinion, if you need a repair. This is the man that will give you those estimates. Everyone, thank you for listening. Brad, thank you for being here with me.
I appreciate you.
And we'll see you next time on Opening Local.